The Vorthak homeworld filled the viewscreen like a massive tumor in space. It was not really a planet anymore, but a bioship the size of a world. Dark metal and living tissue covered its surface. Billions of Vorthak lived inside it, along with the enslaved populations of hundreds of conquered species. Fleet Admiral Jae Sung studied the readings from his scouts. How many humans are down there? Intelligence Officer Yoonji checked her reports. At least 40,000 of ours, sir. Plus millions of other enslaved beings from dozens of species. This thing has been their main prison for centuries. Admiral Seok Jin's voice came through the communication system from Earth. Admiral, you have authority to use any level of force necessary. The entire human government is behind you. Jae Sung looked at the largest military fleet in human history. During their journey through Vorthak space, more ships had joined them. Now nearly 1,500 warships surrounded the alien homeworld. Every shipyard in human space had sent reinforcements. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the planet, reported Captain Hyun-woo of the frontline battlecruiser Determined Justice. The main screen showed a creature that was clearly the Vorthak Emperor. Zul'Maka was larger than the other aliens, with golden skin and 6 arms ending in claws. His eyes glowed with the stolen life force of countless victims. Human military commander, Zul'Maka said in a voice like oil poured over broken glass. I am Emperor Zul'Maka of the Vorthak Empire. You have destroyed many of my ships and killed my subjects. This aggression will stop now. Jae Sung stepped forward. I am Fleet Admiral Jae Sung of Earth. You have kidnapped our people and turned them into living batteries. You treat sentient beings like food. This ends today. You misunderstand our nature, the Emperor replied. We are a superior species. We have the right to harvest inferior beings for sustenance. However, I am prepared to negotiate. Release your weapons hold on our homeworld, and we will return your captured humans unharmed. Captain Hyun-woo's laugh was bitter and cold. Negotiate? You made children into batteries. You turned families into food. There is no negotiation. Jae Sung nodded agreement. Emperor Zul'Maka, your species has proven that it cannot coexist with civilized beings. Today the Vorthak Empire ends forever. The Emperor's eyes blazed with anger. You dare threaten us? We have conquered 1,000 worlds. We have harvested billions of beings. You are nothing but primitive animals. Wrong again, Jae Sung said calmly. We are the species that protects the innocent, and you have harmed our innocent. Dr. Gangwoo activated the neural liberation field from his science ship. The device sent a pulse of energy across the entire planet ship that broke Vorthak mind control over every enslaved being at once. The effect was immediate and devastating. On the surface of the homeworld, millions of slaves from hundreds of species suddenly became free for the first time in decades. Humans, Altarians, Centauri colonists, and countless others whose names humanity had never learned, all regained control of their minds at the same moment. Liberation field successful, Gangwoo reported. All enslaved populations are now free of mental control. What happened next was beautiful and terrible. The freed slaves, filled with years of stored rage and hatred, turned on their captors. The Vorthak had kept billions of angry beings as prisoners, and now those prisoners were no longer helpless. Commander Dalho led the final assault force toward the Imperial Palace. His ships cut through the planet's defenses while the surface burned with revolution. Freed slaves were tearing apart their former masters with their bare hands. The Emperor Zul'Maka tried one last desperate threat. If you destroy us, you will never learn our technology. You will never understand how to harvest neural energy. Think of the power you could gain. Captain Hyun-woo's response spoke for all of humanity. We don't want your power. We want you dead. The assault ships landed near the Imperial Palace, a massive structure made of living bone and metal. Dalho's Marines poured out of their ships and began fighting their way through the Vorthak guards. The aliens fought with desperation now, but they had never faced an enemy like humans in full rage. The Marines moved through the palace like a force of nature, destroying everything that stood between them and the Emperor. Sergeant Ji-hoon found another group of human prisoners in the palace basement. Among them were Subin and Minho's parents, who had been kept alive as premium food sources for the Emperor himself. Your children are safe, Ji-hoon told them as Medic In Young administered the neural cure. They're on our hospital ships. You'll see them soon. The parents cried with relief and joy. Dalho reached the throne room where Emperor Zul'Maka waited with his final guards. The alien ruler was no longer arrogant. For the first time in his species' history, he was afraid. Please, Zul'Maka begged. Spare me and I will serve your species. I will give you anything you want. Dalho looked at the creature who had ordered the mental torture of children. What we want is for you to never hurt anyone again. The battle for the throne room was brief. The Emperor died knowing that his 1,000-year empire was collapsing around him. Fleet Admiral Jae-sung made the final decision from his command ship. All ships begin planetary bombardment. This facility and everything in it must be destroyed completely. Sir, what about the freed slaves? Asked Captain Dongsu. We're evacuating them now, reported the medical ships, transporting all survivors to safety. For the next 6 hours, human ships worked to rescue every enslaved being from the dying homeworld. Humans, aliens, creatures that had been prisoners so long they had forgotten their own species' names. All were saved and brought to safety. When the last rescue ship cleared the area, Jae-sung gave the final order. Fire. 1,500 ships opened fire at once. Quantum torpedoes, plasma beams, and kinetic bombardment rained down on the Vorthak homeworld. The planet ship that had been the center of a cruel empire for centuries was reduced to burning debris in space. Captain Dongwu, the merchant captain whose discovery had started this war, piloted the last rescue ship away from the destruction. In the medical bay, little Subin sat with her brother Minho and their parents, all together again and all free. Thank you for coming for us, Subin said to the human soldiers around her. That's what humans do, replied Medican Young. We protect our families. The war was over. The Vorthak Empire no longer existed. Every bioship had been destroyed. Every member of their species was dead. They would never again turn children into batteries or treat sentient beings as food. Admiral Seok-jin sent the final message to the fleet. Task Force Retribution, this is Earth Command. Mission accomplished. All human prisoners recovered. Enemy completely eliminated. Come home. As the massive fleet prepared to return to human space, they carried with them not just their rescued people, but millions of other beings who had been freed from Vorthak slavery. The galaxy was a safer place. Fleet Admiral Jae-sung stood on his bridge and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there might be other species that preyed on the helpless. If so, they would learn the same lesson the Vorthak had learned. Attention all ships, he broadcast to his fleet. Today we established a new law in this galaxy. Any species that harms the innocent will face the full might of humanity. We are the guardians of the helpless, the shield of the weak, and the sword of justice, and we will never forget. The human fleet jumped to hyperspace carrying their rescued families home. Behind them, the burning remains of the Vorthak homeworld served as a warning to any other species that might think humans were easy prey. They had learned the truth. Humans were not prey. They were the predators that hunted predators. And when they fought to protect their children, they became an unstoppable force that could destroy empires. The galaxy was now a place where the innocent could sleep safely, because humanity was watching over them. Fleet Admiral Jae-sung stood on the bridge of the massive space station that orbited Earth. Through the huge windows he could see something that had never existed before in human history. Every warship that Earth could build was gathering in one place. The orbital shipyards around Earth, Luna, and Mars were working day and night. Sparks flew from welding torches as workers built new weapons and armor for the ships. The sound of metal being cut and shaped echoed through space as humanity prepared for war. Admiral, we have 800 ships ready for combat, reported Captain Wu Jin from the bridge of the dreadnought Indomitable. More are being finished every day. Jae-sung looked at the fleet gathering around Earth. Massive carriers that could launch 1,000 fighter ships. Heavy cruisers with weapons that could crack planets. Fast destroyers built for hunting enemy ships. And at the center, the super dreadnoughts, the most powerful warships humans had ever created. Dr. Hyojin called from the weapons research facility on Luna. Admiral, we've finished the new quantum torpedoes. Each one can destroy a ship the size of a Vorthak bioship. We've also completed the neural disruption fields that should free humans from Vorthak mind control. How many torpedoes do we have? Jae-sung asked. 10,000, sir. And we're making more. General So-young joined the conversation from the Marine training base on Mars. Admiral, my soldiers are ready. We've trained 20,000 Marines for zero-gravity combat. Lieutenant Namsu has developed new tactics for boarding alien ships and rescuing prisoners. Jae-sung felt pride grow in his chest. Humans were good at many things, but they were best at protecting their families. When someone threatened human children, every person on Earth became a soldier. What about intelligence? He asked. Intelligence Officer Yunji answered from her station. Sir, we've captured and studied Vorthak technology from the attack sites. The good news is that their mind control can be reversed if we free people within 72 hours. After that, the neural damage becomes permanent. Jae-sung felt both hope and urgency. Hope because they could save people. Urgency because every hour counted. Admiral Byung-ho entered the command center. He was an old soldier with scars on his face from battles fought long ago. Jae-sung, the government has given us complete authority. Every resource Earth has is ours to use. What are our orders? Jae-sung asked. Byung-ho's face was hard as steel. Total war. The Vorthak Empire must be completely destroyed. Not defeated, not driven away. Eliminated. They've shown us what they do to helpless beings. We cannot allow creatures like this to exist in the galaxy. Jae-sung understood. This was not a normal war where you fought until the enemy surrendered. The Vorthak ate people's minds for food. They could never be trusted to stop. They had to be wiped out completely. I'll address the fleet, Jae-sung said. All 800 ships received his message at the same time. Every captain, every soldier, every crew member heard Fleet Admiral Jae-sung's words. Soldiers of Earth. Today we face an enemy unlike any in human history. The Vorthak Empire does not want our territory. They do not want our resources. They want to turn every human being into a living battery while they slowly eat our minds. He paused to let that sink in. They have taken over 500,000 of our people. Men, women, and children are right now being prepared for a lifetime of mental torture. The Vorthak consider us to be animals. Food. They believe humans are weak and helpless. Jae-sung's voice grew harder. They are wrong. Today we show them what happens when a species that has fought its way up from caves and conquered the stars decides to protect its young. Today we teach them that humans are not prey. We are predators, and when you threaten our families we become something much worse. On every ship, soldiers and sailors felt their hearts burn with anger and determination. Task Force Retribution will jump into Vorthak space in 6 hours. Our mission is simple. Find every human they have taken. Kill every Vorthak we meet. Destroy every ship they have. Break their empire so completely that no alien will ever again think humans are easy victims. Captain Dong-soo of the carrier Vengeful Sky sent a message back to the Admiral. Sir, my pilots are ready. We have 500 fighters loaded with the new quantum torpedoes. Commander Sung-min of the Marine assault ship Righteous Fury reported next. Admiral, my troops are equipped with the new teleportation technology. We can beam directly inside enemy ships and start freeing prisoners immediately. Captain Yoon Seo of the stealth destroyer Shadow's Edge added her voice. My ship is already in position at the Vorthak border. We've identified their main supply routes and can cut off their escape. All across the fleet, similar reports came in. Every ship was ready. Every weapon was loaded. Every soldier knew what they had to do. Dr. Gangwoo from the Medical Research Station called with important news. Admiral, we've developed a cure for Vorthak neural drainage. If we can get to the prisoners quickly enough, we can restore their minds completely. How quickly? Jae-sung asked. Within 72 hours of capture, full recovery is possible. After that, we can still save them, but some damage might be permanent. Jae-sung did the math in his head. The most recent attacks had happened 2 days ago. If they moved fast, they could save almost everyone. All ships prepare for jump. We leave for Vorthak space in 1 hour. As the fleet prepared to depart, messages came in from all over human space. Colony governments promised to send supply ships. Mining stations offered to build more weapons. Even civilian merchants volunteered to carry medical supplies for the rescued prisoners. Admiral Seok-jin sent one final message from Earth Command. Fleet Admiral, you carry with you the hopes and prayers of 8 billion human beings. Bring our people home. Jae-sung looked out at his fleet one more time. 800 of humanity's most powerful warships. Thousands of fighters. Tens of thousands of Marines. The most advanced weapons Earth had ever created. All focused on one goal. Rescuing their captured families and destroying the creatures that had taken them. All ships. Jump drive activation in 30 seconds, he announced. The space around Earth filled with swirling energy, as 800 ships prepared to travel faster than light. Each ship was painted with the same symbol, a human hand reaching out to protect a child with the words "Never Again" written below it. Jump drives activated. Destination: Vorthak Empire. Mission: complete rescue and total destruction. In a flash of light that could be seen from the Earth's surface, Task Force Retribution vanished into hyperspace. They were going to war against creatures that ate, minds and enslaved children. The Vorthak Empire was about to learn what human fury looked like when it was focused and organized and armed with the best weapons technology could create. The hunt was about to begin. Task Force Retribution dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Vorthak territory. Like a storm made of metal and fury, 800 human warships appeared in perfect formation, their weapons already charging for battle. Fleet Admiral Jae Sung stood on the bridge of his command ship and watched the scanner displays. Contact. Multiple Vorthak bioships detected. They appear to be moving human prisoners. Captain Dongsu's voice came through the communication system from the carrier Vengeful Sky. Admiral, I'm launching all fighters. My pilots are ready to show these aliens what human technology can do. 500 fighter ships poured out of the carrier bays like angry wasps. Each fighter was armed with quantum torpedoes and piloted by humans who had seen the recordings of children being taken from their homes. The Vorthak fleet was completely surprised. They had been expecting to hunt helpless colonists, not face the entire human military. Their bioships were large and alive-looking, but they moved slowly, and their weapons were designed for scaring civilians, not fighting warships. This is Overlord Vashatar to human fleet, came an alien voice through the radio. The translator made the words understandable, but they still sounded cold and hungry. You will stop your attack or we will kill the human prisoners we carry. Fleet Admiral Jae Sung's reply was broadcast to every ship in both fleets. This is Fleet Admiral Jae Sung of Earth. You made a mistake when you decided to prey on human children. Today you learn why that was the last mistake your species will ever make. The first wave of human fighters hit the Vorthak bioships like hammers striking glass. The quantum torpedoes tore through alien hulls that had never faced real weapons before. Captain Dongsu watched from his carrier as 3 bioships exploded in the first 30 seconds of battle. But the Admiral had prepared for the Vorthak threat to kill prisoners. Commander Sung Min of the Marine assault ship Righteous Fury activated the teleportation system. Teleportation successful, Sung Min reported. My Marines are inside the enemy ships. The new technology let human soldiers appear directly inside the Vorthak bioships without having to break through the hulls. Sergeant Ji-hoon led the first boarding team and found himself in a dark, wet corridor that pulsed like the inside of a living creature. This is disgusting, said one of his Marines. The walls are moving. Focus on the mission, Ji-hoon ordered. Find the prisoners. They followed their scanners deeper into the bioship. The Vorthak had not expected enemies to appear inside their ships, so there were few guards. The aliens they did meet were tall, thin creatures with too many arms and eyes that glowed in the dark. The Marines' weapons cut through them easily. Ji-hoon found the prisoner bay and almost threw up at what he saw. Hundreds of humans were connected to strange machines by tubes and wires. Their eyes were open but empty. The machines were slowly draining their life force while keeping them alive. Medic In-young, get over here now, Ji-hoon called. In-young ran to the prisoner bay carrying cases of the neural restoration medicine that Dr. Gangwoo had developed. She began injecting the cure into the prisoners one by one. The first person she treated was a middle-aged man from New Seoul Colony. His eyes suddenly became clear and aware. He looked around in confusion and fear. Where am I? He asked. What happened to my family? You're safe now, In-young told him. We're taking you home. One by one, the prisoners woke up as the medicine freed their minds from Vorthak control. Men and women began crying with relief. Parents searched frantically for their children. My daughter Soo-bin, shouted one man. They took my daughter and my son Min-ho. Are they here? Ji-hoon checked his scanner. Negative, but we're hitting every enemy ship. If they're in this fleet, we'll find them. Similar rescue operations were happening on dozens of Vorthak ships at the same time. The aliens had never faced an enemy that could appear inside their ships instantly. Their bioships were designed to transport prisoners, not fight boarding parties. Captain Yoon Seo of the stealth destroyer Shadow's Edge was already in position along the Vorthak escape routes. Her ship was invisible to alien scanners, and she watched as panicked bioships tried to flee deeper into their territory. Not today, she said, and fired a spread of torpedoes into the fleeing ships. The Vorthak overlord Vashtar tried to coordinate a defense, but his fleet was falling apart. The bioships that tried to fight were destroyed by human weapons they could not understand. The ships that tried to run were hunted down by human vessels that were faster and more advanced. How are they doing this? Vashtar demanded of his officers. These are supposed to be primitive prey animals. One of his subordinates, a creature called Mordak, studied the battle reports. Overlord, the humans are using technology we have never seen. They appear inside our ships without warning. Their weapons destroy us with single hits. Their fighters are faster than anything we have. Vashtar felt something his species had never experienced before. Fear. On the human command ship, Fleet Admiral Jae Sung received reports from across the battlefield. Admiral, we've destroyed 37 enemy bioships and rescued over 8,000 prisoners. Our losses are minimal. 2 fighters damaged, no ships lost. Captain Wu Jin of the Dreadnought Indomitable reported next. Sir, the remaining enemy ships are trying to group together for a final stand. Should we accept their surrender if they offer it? Jae Sung remembered the recordings of children with empty eyes being loaded onto alien ships. He remembered Professor Kyung Ho's translation of Vorthak messages calling humans delicious prey. Negative, Captain. No surrender. These creatures eat the minds of children. They cannot be allowed to live. The final battle of the Vorthak border fleet lasted only 20 minutes. Human weapons and tactics were so far advanced compared to what the aliens had that it was not really a battle. It was an execution. Commander Sung Min's Marines found little Subin and her brother Minho on the last bioship they searched. The children were connected to the same kind of draining machines, but they had only been captured 2 days ago. The neural cure worked perfectly on them. Subin woke up and immediately started crying for her parents. "Where are Mama and Papa?" she asked. "We're taking you to them right now," Medic In Young promised. "They're safe on one of our ships." As the last Vorthak bioship exploded in flames, Jae Sung contacted all his ships. Phase 1 complete. All human prisoners in this fleet have been rescued. Total enemy losses, 73 bioships destroyed, 0 survivors, but this was just the beginning. Intelligence reported that this had been only a small Vorthak patrol fleet. The main enemy force was deeper in their territory, along with most of the captured humans. All ships set course for the Vorthak core systems, Jae Sung ordered. "We're going to find every human they've taken, and we're going to destroy every alien that thought eating children was acceptable." Captain Dongsu's pilots were already rearming their fighters with fresh torpedoes. Sergeant Ji-hoon's Marines were cleaning their weapons and preparing for more boarding actions. Every human in the fleet knew they had won only the first fight in a larger war. The Vorthak Empire was about to learn that humans did not just fight to win. When someone threatened their families, humans fought to completely destroy their enemies. The hunt was just getting started. Commander Hyun stared at the huge wall screen in Earth Command's intelligence center. Red dots marked every human colony that had gone silent in the past month. The pattern was clear and terrifying. The aliens were working their way toward Earth, taking the weakest settlements first. "Show me the data from the probe we sent to the Kepler 442 system," she told her assistant. The screen changed to show recordings from a small spy drone. Hyun watched as massive bioships landed on 3 different human worlds in that system. The ships were alive in some way. Their hulls moved like breathing skin. Strange lights pulsed along their surfaces like a heartbeat. "Computer, analyze the ship movements and give me their pattern," Hyun said. The computer's voice was calm and electronic. "Analysis complete. Enemy ships target agricultural colonies first, then mining operations, then research stations. They avoid all settlements with military bases or strong defenses. Pattern suggests they are testing human responses while collecting biological specimens." Hyun felt sick. Biological specimens. That was a cold way to say they were stealing people. Professor Kyung Ho entered the room carrying a datapad. He was an old man who had spent his life studying how alien minds worked. His face was pale and worried. "Commander, I've been studying the alien communications we picked up from the attack sites," he said. "I've decoded some of their language. What I found is not good." Hyun turned to face him. "Tell me." "They call themselves the Vorthak Empire. They don't see humans as intelligent beings. To them we are food, but not food for their bodies, food for their minds." Kyung Ho touched his datapad and the wall screen showed strange symbols with English translations below them. "They feed on neural energy, the electrical activity in our brains. They can drain it slowly over many years while keeping the victim alive. The humans they take will be kept conscious but helpless while these creatures slowly eat their thoughts and memories." Hyun read the translations on the screen. The Vorthak messages talked about humans like farmers talk about cattle. They discussed which colonies had the best flavor and which age groups provided the most nutrition. Children. were considered especially valuable because their minds were pure and energetic. There's more, Kyung-ho said. His voice was shaking now. They consider humans to be the most delicious species they have ever found. Our emotions make our neural energy very rich and complex. They're planning to harvest all 8 billion people on Earth. At that moment, Engineer Mi-young called from the research station Prometheus, which was hidden deep in space between star systems. Her voice came through the communication system, full of fear and anger. Earth Command, this is Mi-young on Prometheus. I've been listening to Vorthak military channels. They're calling this the Great Harvest. They say humans are so tasty that other Vorthak fleets are coming from across their empire to join the feeding. Ha-yoon felt cold fear run down her back. How many ships are we talking about? At least 3,000 bioships, Commander. Maybe more. They're treating this like the discovery of a new kind of treasure. The Vorthak Emperor himself is coming to oversee the harvest of Earth. Captain Jin-woo's voice suddenly broke into the communication from his patrol ship Defiance. Earth Command, I'm watching a harvesting operation at New Incheon Colony right now. You need to see this. The main screen switched to show Jin-woo's ship cameras. Ha-yoon watched in horror as thousands of humans walked in perfect lines toward massive alien ships. The people moved like robots, their eyes glowing blue, their faces empty of all expression. Men and women carried their children, but none of them showed any emotion. I can see families being separated, Jin-woo reported. Husbands and wives going to different ships. Children being taken from their parents. But none of them resist. None of them even seem to understand what's happening. Ha-yoon saw a little girl who could not have been more than 6 years old. The child walked past the camera holding her father's hand. Her name tag said Subin in small letters. Behind her, a boy who looked like her brother followed with the same empty stare. His tag said Minho. I want to help them, Jin-woo said. But my ship only has light weapons. Those bioships are massive. If I attack, they'll destroy me and still take everyone. Stay back, Captain, Ha-yoon ordered. Record everything. We need proof of what they're doing to our people. The recording continued for 2 hours, ship after ship loaded with human prisoners. Ha-yoon counted over 15,000 people being taken from New Incheon alone. When the last bioship left the planet's surface, the colony was completely empty. Professor Kyung-ho studied the recordings with his computers. The mind control appears to be some kind of neural field, he explained. It makes humans want to cooperate with their captors. The victims feel peaceful and happy while they're being kidnapped. That's sick, Mi-young said from Prometheus Station. They make people enjoy being enslaved. Admiral Seok-jin entered the intelligence center. His face was hard as stone. How many colonies have we lost? 23 confirmed, Ha-yoon replied. We estimate over 500,000 humans taken so far. And they're all still alive? Professor Kyung-ho nodded. The Vorthak keep their food sources alive for decades. They drain neural energy slowly so it lasts longer. The victims stay conscious but can't move or speak. They just exist, while their minds are slowly eaten away. Admiral Seok-jin was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was filled with cold rage. These creatures think humans are helpless animals. They're stealing our children and turning our families into living batteries. They believe we'll just let them take us one colony at a time until they reach Earth itself. He turned to face everyone in the room. They're wrong. Send word to every ship captain, every military base, every government leader. Tell them what we're facing. Tell them that peaceful aliens are harvesting human beings like crops. What are your orders, Admiral? Ha-yoon asked. We're going to show the Vorthak Empire what happens when you try to eat a species that fights back. Get me Fleet Admiral Jae-sung. It's time to wake up the entire human military. As messages went out across human space, the response was immediate and angry. Every shipyard began building warships as fast as possible. Every military base called back their soldiers. Every human government began preparing for total war. The Vorthak had made one terrible mistake. They thought humans would be easy prey because the outer colonies had no strong defenses. They did not know that humans protect their families with a fury that could burn down galaxies. The Great Harvest was about to become something very different. The Vorthak were about to learn why predators should be careful when choosing their prey. Captain Dongwoo stared at his ship's scanner display and frowned. Something was wrong. The merchant vessel Horizon's Edge had been traveling to New Seoul Colony for 3 days, and now they were close enough to pick up radio signals. But there were none. Bora, are you seeing this? He called to his ship's doctor. Dr. Bora looked up from her workstation. She was a smart woman who studied alien life forms. Her dark eyes showed worry as she checked her own screens. The colony should be talking to us by now. They always send greeting messages when ships arrive. Tejo, the ship's security chief, walked onto the bridge. He was a big man with strong hands and a serious face. Captain, I've been listening to all radio channels, nothing. Not even background chatter. Dongwu felt cold fear in his stomach. New Seoul Colony was home to 50,000 people. It was one of the biggest human settlements on the outer edge of known space. These people grew food for many other colonies. They had families, children, hopes, and dreams. They could not just be quiet. Take us down, Dongwu ordered, but keep the engines ready to run. The horizon's edge dropped through the planet's blue sky toward the main settlement. From above, everything looked normal. The buildings stood in neat rows. Gardens showed green plants growing in organized patterns. Roads connected different parts of the town. But there were no people walking around. No vehicles moving. No children playing in the parks. They landed at the spaceport. Dongwu, Bora, and Tejo put on their environment suits and walked outside. The air was good to breathe, but they wanted to be safe. Their boots made loud sounds on the empty concrete. The first building they entered was the port control center. The door was unlocked. Inside, coffee cups sat on desks with steam still rising from them. A half-eaten sandwich lay on a plate. Computer screens showed normal readings. Everything looked like people had just stepped away for a moment. This is very strange, Bora said. She took out a small device that could detect alien technology. It started beeping softly. I'm getting readings of unknown energy patterns. They walked deeper into the settlement. House after house was the same. Doors unlocked. Food still warm on tables. Clothes still in washing machines. Toys left on floors where children had been playing. But no people anywhere. Tejo found something important in the town's security office. Captain, you need to see this. He pointed at a large screen that showed recordings from cameras around the town. Dongwu and Bora watched the playback. At first, it showed normal life. People walking, working, talking to each other. Children running and laughing. Then at exactly 14:23 local time, everyone stopped what they were doing. All at the same time. Look at their eyes, Bora whispered. The people's eyes were glowing with a soft blue light. Their faces had no expression. They all turned and started walking in the same direction, toward the center of town. Men, women, children, old people. Everyone moved like they were sleepwalking. The camera recording showed huge ships coming down from the sky. The ships were strange, not like any human design. They looked alive somehow, with smooth curves and surfaces that seemed to breathe. The ships landed in the town center. Fast forward, Dongwu said. The recording sped up. It showed all 50,000 people walking into the alien ships. They moved in perfect lines, never stopping, never talking. The children held their parents' hands, but their faces were blank. The last person entered a ship at 16:45. Then all the ships lifted off and disappeared into space. The camera stopped working right after that, Tejo said. But I found something else. He showed them a radio message that had been recorded but never sent. It was from Young-Soo, the colony's communication officer. Young-Soo's voice was scared and shaking. This is New Seoul Colony sending emergency message to Earth Command. Unknown alien ships have arrived. Our people are acting strange. They're walking toward the ships and we can't stop them. I can feel something in my head trying to control me. I'm fighting it, but I don't know how long I can. They're so beautiful, the lights. I need to go to them. No, I have to send this message first. Please, someone help us. They're taking everyone. The message ended. Dr. Bora ran more tests around the town. She found tiny pieces of unknown metal and strange energy readings everywhere. Whatever they used, it got into people's minds, she said. Made them want to go with the aliens. As they prepared to leave, Tejo's radio made a noise. It was a weak signal from very far away. The voice was hard to hear through the static. This is New Busan Mining Colony. Anyone receiving this? Dongwu grabbed the radio. This is Captain Dongwu of the merchant ship Horizon's Edge. We hear you, New Busan. What is your situation? Young-Soo's voice came through, full of fear. Captain, thank God someone is listening. The ships are here. The same ships that hit the other colonies. Our people are starting to walk toward them. I can feel something pushing at my mind. It's getting stronger. They're taking us all. Please tell Earth Command. Tell them we tried to fight. Oh no, the light is so pretty. I have to go to them now. The signal died. Dongwu felt anger burn in his chest. Someone was taking human beings, stealing them from their homes, making them into prisoners. This was not war. This was not about territory or resources. This was something much worse. Get us back to the ship, he ordered. We're going straight to Earth. Command needs to know about this right now. As the horizon's edge lifted off from New Seoul Colony, Dongwu looked down at the empty town one last time. Somewhere out in space, 50,000 people were prisoners of aliens who could control their minds. Children were scared and alone. Families were torn apart. He sent an emergency message to Earth Command as soon as they reached space. The message was simple but urgent. 17 colonies have been attacked by unknown aliens. All populations taken alive. Mind control suspected. Need immediate military response. The enemy is collecting human beings. Admiral Seok-jin received the message at Earth Command headquarters. He read it 3 times, then called an emergency meeting. As the Earth's top military leaders gathered, they all knew the same thing. This was not just an attack on a few distant colonies. This was the beginning of something much bigger and much worse.